was working on the internet industry, the .com era, and the last thing I wanted to do was, my image of financial planners was the sitting behind a big mahogany desk with like, you know, judgy eyes staring at you, like you don't have $1 million, you're not 50 something, and you don't have a wealth, and you're young, and it was intimidating, like super intimidating for me. And then thinking of myself even working in that industry was like, yeah, that's not really me. But the more I started to get into it and learn, it was just the way everyone has been doing this without the education, more technical, talking to the dudes or the man or the husband and not really listening to the wife. I feel like it's starting to change and pivot, and no one really knows what a financial planner does. They think it's just talking investments and your portfolio, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more that we can do, that we want to do, that we want to focus on the education part and really make that important for people, because we want our clients to be educated in, you know, not only what we're trying to do for them, we try to take in all their goals.
Right, like if you're having a kid, getting
Yeah.
married, applying for college.
Yeah, in whatever order it comes.
And even with talking with my friends and people who I know, women who are younger, they're like, they don't understand what it is, and they don't want to come in for help because they just don't want to be talked down to. It can be different, and it can be more modern, and in a way that is collaborative and educational. I mean, I'd like clients to learn along with me, and I'm learning about them, and they're learning about, instead of looking at us telling them what we're doing, they're actually understanding it, and they can ask questions based on that. But that takes time.
It takes time, and it takes building the trust. I think the hardest thing is getting all the information from a client when we're trying to do some planning. They're
not into,
or they're not into sharing.
Or they're uncomfortable, or they don't know what to share. It's unique to each person and their own goals, and even their age. We see so many people with so many ranges of money or inheritance or planning or debt. There's just no judgment on our part. We just want them, people that come to us, to be the best they can be in their own lives.
Part of building trust with the client is really letting them know the story behind the firm, and really the story how your mom got into the business as a woman 30 some years ago. When she was young, lost her dad, who was the breadwinner of the family, as I understand it.
Yeah, he had a massive heart attack at age 36. My mom had to get a job when she was 13, and my grandmother had zero motivation to do anything. You know?
Yeah.
My mom told me that this wasn't her life, and that this is not how women should live. Like, what happens if your husband dies? And that's what led her to opening up this business. I mean, she started in a firm with men, and she had mentioned that she had an idea, and they shut her down, and then they took her idea, presented it, and he loved the idea.
Yeah.
And she was just like,
it's
this is unbelievable.
From what she would tell me, she just never wanted anyone else to be in the position that she was in. With that, she really wanted to help women starting out, divorcees and widows, and she started running those classes here in town. Some of those clients we still have even 30 years later.
Yeah, she started teaching at the local adult school and for women, and she said it was standing room only. And this is in the late 80s. She worked so hard and so often. Like, I felt like my dad was a stay-at-home dad. Like, he still worked, but he was, doing something else. But she was just, once she found it, she just went with it. The more she learned about money and finances, like, it was hilarious, because she'd come over and say, never rely on a man. You need to make your own money before you get married. I even grew up not even realizing that women weren't equal to men, because my mom was like dominant in this field, and it was because she only focused on women when no one else at the time would take women seriously or take them.
Again, educating our clients is one of the top goals that we have when it comes to their portfolio. Just show them and teach them a little bit about diversification and having an asset allocation where we have a certain amount of money allocated towards stocks or equity. There are obviously risks and everything, but to have that, to really start with that diversification in the asset allocation and build on those two things.
And explaining what risk is to them and helping them understand their own fears and behaviors. Everything is so technical in these meetings, but women need a more emotional connection and understanding in order for them to trust you. Not only trust you, to be able to open up to you. That's why I'm taking this or starting this graduate program in financial psychology, just so I can help hear the triggers and hear the beliefs and the fears, and I can start to work with them to not only get their money right, but also to help them realize their own behaviors around this, and maybe that has stopped them from moving forward, and educating on all of that. Right. I just think it's the piece that's missing, really understanding how people think, how they were brought up, the stuff they've absorbed from their own parents, and how that plays out in their life right now.
Definitely, you said about getting their money straight, and a lot of times that starts with getting your head straight. We keep talking about education and helping with some of the financial jargon that's out there, and you know, some of the things that we throw around so easily between us because we know what's going on. But when you look at just even a bull versus a bear market, where the bull market is the general trend being upwards in the direction where most people are making money, and then the bear market being the opposite, which is a little bit more difficult to deal with because people are actually can be, you know, at least in their portfolio, losing money, although not typically on hopefully not on a permanent basis.
For me, you just hear the portfolio, that word just thrown out like everywhere, like it's a big,
right.
Hey, I got my portfolio.
Yeah, and then how their and it's really just their portfolio. Yeah, just the breakdown of what we have them invested in. Term that I like to use is just a plain vanilla portfolio. So it's, you know, we're looking at basic stocks and bonds and how we keep it simple so that it is learnable, so that we can teach our clients about it, and so that we understand it very well, so that we can help them to understand it well also.
The portfolio, and then you have the asset allocation within it. And so the asset allocation, literally all that means is we're going to make your portfolio, we're going to put you in, well, this goes in the market capitalization.
Large, medium, and small sized companies that we want to look at. And we'll have some fixed income in there, which is really just a debt payment from either a local government or a national government or a corporation, and there's always some cash in there, which we sometimes call dry powder. And that's kind of an analogy that we use to say that we can, you know, be ready to capitalize on any opportunities that we might see in the future, and so we're always a little bit ready for that. You know, another fun one that's gotten a lot of press lately is buying the dip. Kind of looking at a chart as a stock goes up from the bottom left of a chart to the upper right. Sometimes it goes down a little bit, and that can sometimes look like a dip, and that's something that we can buy if we think the general direction in the longer term is going to be higher still.
You know, you have bonds in the portfolio, and the main reason they're there is so if the stock market takes a huge dip, like 20-30%, the bonds maybe fluctuate 5% either way. So it's kind of like a weight, so it almost keeps it floating. Like if you're in a pool or something, like it's not going to all sink to the bottom.
Yeah, not everything sinks.
It'll go down, it just won't go down as far.